Greetings, Grand Rising. Happy spring equinox. I pray everyone is well. My name is Iabola. I come to you today on our third day of our journey. I want to do a quick mic check to make sure everyone can hear me, and we are going to get started. Good morning, Mama Frie. Great Grand Rising to Sammy, everyone else who is out there. Let me know you're here. Pop your name into the chat. So just wanted to make sure everyone can hear, and then we're going to get started. And while we are gathering our items and getting ourselves ready, really honored to be here with you today. Today is the spring equinox. We'll talk a little bit about why it's significant and why it's also significant in this work that we are doing. It is the portal. It is the day of balance between light and darkness. It is an opportunity for us to prepare for the spring, a new season, new intentions, new opportunities to manifest. So we are going to use the work that we've been doing for the last 2 days of our journey to really set ourselves up for success in this next season. So we're going to get started. So today on day 3, we've talked about truth. We've talked about choice. Today, we're going to talk about focus and direction, right? This moment of balance and new beginnings arrives at a threshold that if we are grounded and we are clear, we'll be ready to move forward with intention. And so that is what we have been setting ourselves up for the last 2 days. So, as we have been in the other times, make sure that you set up your ritual space, allowing yourself some time for ceremony, for ritual, for focus on yourself. You can grab your journal. I shared in the chat earlier to gather the things for our candle dressing later. So, rosemary is one of the herbs that we'll be working with. And you can gather other herbs that speak to you at this time. For me, it's been cinnamon. I brought ginger back because ginger started us off on day 1, and it is still rocking with me. So I'm going to rock with it because there's something for me to learn from it this season. And I also brought some lemon peels because citrus is an amazing way to keep cheer and joy and clarity. And so I wanted to have the zest of lemon, and that's what came to me this morning. But bring what you have, and we'll build as we go. Make sure that you have a candle that you can use, as well as if you have flower essences, you can bring them into this conversation with you, or you can wait until after the session as well. But again, welcome, 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 welcome. So why is today important, right? The equinox threshold. The spring equinox is a rare and sacred moment. It's one day each year where day and night are perfectly balanced, right? The light and the dark, they rest in equal measure. And this allows for us to feel and understand the balance that's occurring. It's important to know that as we move forward from this day forward, light continues to grow day by day. It's quiet, it's steady, but we get what we call extended days, which is really beautiful. So this threshold isn't just about what's happening in the sky and the shift that's happening, but as we've been talking about for the last 2 or 3 days, it's also about the fact that a frequency shift is happening, that the earth is waking up. This is the time where the birds start to speak louder in the mornings. You'll notice that little spring buds will start coming up because the frequency of the earth is now shifting from being in sacred rest to awakening. And it's an amazing time to be around, and you can feel it in your body. I was sharing on our day one of the reasons why ginger was also very grounding is because it's a lot of energy that's happening. There's also a lot of planetary activity happening. The last 3 or 4 days, planets have been coming in and out of uh, uh, a rotation. During a time where they haven't done it for 8 years, 10 years, 30 years. And so that's also a really, really big shift. So be really, really, be clear that there's a lot happening, and be gentle with yourself, because again, there's a lot happening. um, and so it's a powerful moment. And so one of the reasons why I wanted to use this third day to talk about focus and direction is because we've done the work, right? We've done the releasing. We've talked about the grounding. We allowed truths to emerge. We've made a choice about what we're choosing in this next season. And so how do we stay focused and intentional during this threshold? Because this is something that we are asked to step through. Many people just let the world happen to them. And that's one of the reasons why I think we miss our opportunity to expand, right? Our ancestors really understood the importance of these threshold moments, the importance of certain planets aligning, and what that information meant for the future. And so we need to really begin to tap back into that. So the threshold of itself brings the opportunity for balance, right? It's a moment of stillness before the light expands. Um, Interestingly enough, for myself, I usually do not have issue with waking up in the mornings, but I had from yes, well, this whole time since the new moon when we started this, which was the other thing, as we started this process as a new moon was coming in, I've been extremely tired. And so I've been getting through the day, but like yesterday, I came in and just passed out. And usually in the mornings, I don't have an issue getting up, but it was the hardest thing trying to get up this morning. I'm being real with you guys. The hardest thing. And it's not normal, but I also understand that we're at a moment where the energy shift is also very heavy. And so the work that we've been doing, our bodies are also trying to integrate it. And so again, I say be gentle with yourself. If you feel like you need to sleep, if you feel like you're overstimulated, if you feel like I just need quiet time, I used to tell people when I'm overstimulated, I need to go look at white walls. I don't need to talk to people. I've talked enough. Like, know what you need and do those things, because it's going to be very, very important during this threshold. This threshold is also important because it's a crossing point between what was and what will be, right? We've been moving for, all of winter, since the winter solstice, in the space of sacred rest. The understanding that resting is not a bad thing. It allows us to cultivate, it allows us to conceive certain ideas, thoughts, healing that's necessary for us to be able to move into our next space of existence. But we have to also understand that with the threshold comes the release of what was, right? There's a release of what was. All the things that you may have been working on, all the things that may have been happening, this is a moment where you get to release them. And the third thing about this threshold is that we make a conscious choice that we're returning to light. We make a conscious choice to use this energy to move towards the light. Again, it's very, I feel in this moment apropos, because that's the work that we've been doing for the last 2 or 3 days, right? So this third day really seals in that work and moves us into this next understanding. Grand Rising, Natasha. Happy happy equinox. See, I'm already at the solstice. I'm a summer child. Sorry, guys. So today we are exploring the energy of focus. And today's guidance is through Ochosi. So Ochosi is the Orisha of the hunt, right? Of the forest, of clear aim. Part of what we most love about him is that the idea of being patient and precise and attuned to every movement in the world around you. And so when you think about his element is the arrow, the bow and arrow, right? And so the goal is that you would be focused on what it is that you are either hunting, what it is you are, what direction you're going in, and that when you pull back that arrow, you are so focused on it that with your aim that you are going to hit your target. And so it's really important that as we have this energy of the threshold, that we think about and become very focused on what we are aiming for and how we're aiming for it. Achosi's energy is not chaotic energy. It's not running around wild and just letting, if you're in the forest, I imagine just letting all the animals run away from you, right? You see that scene where you see them in the movies all the time where something is coming and all the animals start just running, running, running. That is not the energy of Achosi. The energy of Achosi is very quiet. He's looking, he's paying attention to, he's thinking about and making strategy around, okay, if this thing goes left, I'm going to go right. If it goes right, I'm going to go left. It's focused the energy so much that it's able to even, and I myself have felt this, sometimes I feel this, in times where things are shifting, where I can feel the earth breathe. That's how focused and attuned Achosi will become. And so we want to take that guidance and take that energy and think about that as we begin to plot our direction for this season, right? His energy teaches us that true focus is not about being rigid or forceful. It's about being patient. It's about being alive. It's about being deeply intentional. It's about being attuned. And so we've worked our way to this element, right? Because we first started with understanding our bodies and understanding our truth. And whatever that truth is emerging, it's also going to be guiding us through the next season. Then we talked about our choice, right? What are we choosing to do? And how do we create that movement? And how is that movement or that progress going to help us meet our goals? Create something that we want to work on. So this idea that this energy of Achosi brings the idea of clarity, right? Seeing what is truly there without distortion. The idea of patience, waiting for the right moment before acting. And the idea of precise aim, moving energy toward what truly matters. That is the other thing that's going to become very important. We talked about this on the first day, but I want to re-emphasize it today. That as we think about this energy of focus, I want you to pay attention to how you quiet the noise. It's going to become really loud once you become focused. And that's the piece about the hunter, right? Chaos can be happening around them. Lots of sound can be happening around them, but they are so focused and attuned and paying attention to what the goal is that none of that matters. And you're going to have to continue to make a choice around what you choose. I'm choosing joy. I'm choosing love. I'm choosing positive relationships. I'm choosing longevity. Whatever it is that you're choosing, and understanding that all of the other noise that's going to be in the background, that you're going to have to quiet it in order for you to stay focused and for you to have the aim that you need in order to meet your goal. And it's a powerful time, because you being here right now means that you're going to be able to call that energy in to support you in this moment. Welcome, Nicole. Happy Equinox. So let's talk a little bit about where we are. Over the last 3 days, we've been talking about building, right? Putting ideas and concepts and rituals on top of rituals in order for us to see progress, for us to see release, for us to see and understand ourselves, our bodies, our minds, our spirits, what needs to be restored, what things have we lost trust in, and being able to build ourselves up again. So with each truth that we've named and each act of progress, we now have created momentum. And that's all that we need in order for us to achieve our goals, right? It's really momentum. It's this idea, like when we started with day one, we talked about using ginger as an opportunity to not just ground yourself, but to create circulation, right? Because sometimes we need that warming. Sometimes we need something that's going to help the body move, right? And so now that we've gotten to this place, we're now building momentum. We've got this place where now we're moving and churning. We're waking up again, moving from sacred rest into the awakening. It's naturally going to happen, but if we're intentional with it, we'll be able to make it occur. Grand Rising, Ayoka, how are you? So we start with movement, right? The energy and motion, alive and building. We now go to momentum, progress, accumulating, gathering force. So these are the thoughts that we had yesterday when we talked about creating small steps, right? Many times we have the bigger picture, but in order to get to the bigger picture, you have to deal with the smaller steps, and you have to know what the smaller steps are, right? So the smaller steps may be, oh, today this in 4 weeks, I want to launch, a sewing club. Great. But if you want to launch a sewing club, what are all the steps that you have to do in order to get to that place? You may need to create a mailing list. You may need to have a space unless you already have one. You may want to think about, who am I inviting and what kind of energy do I want to cultivate, and who may I want to partner with? You may want to look at, am I charging? Is this free? Am I doing, like, what are your intentions around it? So there are all these smaller steps that are necessary for you to be able to get to your goal. And I say it in this way because we talked about blackberry yesterday, right? And blackberry flower. And the fact that one of the things about blackberry that's very important to notice is that it moves with keeping us focused on what our next step is and completing the task. Because that's the other thing about momentum. It doesn't work if we don't get through the step, right? If you leave it hanging, then you're not able to get to the next step. So the goal is that progress is accumulating, right? You're doing it 1 day, 2 days, 3 days at a time. The next piece that we're going to be looking at today is direction. How do we focus, right? How do we focus our energy onto the purpose and the intention that we're moving forward in? And finally, intention, powerful, precise, and fully your own. That this has been a truth that existed in you. And so because it's a truth, you're intentional about everything that you do. Remembering that without focus, energy becomes scattered. It spreads thin. It doesn't have as much potency because it's scattered. There's no direction. It's just doing what you do. You feel busy, but you don't feel purposeful. But when you have focus, this energy becomes powerful and intentional. It cuts through noise. It finds the mark. It builds something lasting for everything that you have already put into motion. And many times it, think about the rule around energy, right? Energy is never destroyed, right? So once you put it in motion, it's going to keep going. Whether or not it goes fast, slow, you meet your destination, you meet your next goal quickly, is up to how much momentum you keep putting behind it. How many steps how much energy are you putting behind it? Because that energy is going to help it to move forward. And to know and understand that not everything has to be done all at the same time, which is why it's important for you to be able to see the bigger picture and know that these smaller steps are going to get you to that place. And what are those smaller steps that you need in order to accomplish that? So today we are talking about one of my faves, rosemary. I'm going to grab some. If you have rosemary with you or around you, I want you to take a moment to put some in your left hand and take a sniff. How does it make you feel when you smell it? Rosemary is one of my favorites. Got a little bit out. How does it make you feel? There's a coolness that occurs with rosemary. But one of the things that rosemary is known for, it's known for memory. It is the herb of memory. It helps us with remembering. I always like to say the elders always teach us, and we always see things and we don't pay attention to it. But rosemary, those who may have, family from the Caribbean, specifically Jamaica, from time to time you will see the Rastafarians, they would wear a piece of rosemary behind their ear because it helps them to remember. That's naturally what rosemary does. And so we use it as an herb of remembrance, right? It's revered for as being a plant of clarity, of protection, of clear-eyed vision. And so we use it in that way. We use it when we are using it for our bodies, meaning using it in spiritual work, but also when we're using it to as part of our medicine, as part of the food that we use, right? So you put it in your foods and it helps you with memory. You put it in your hair or in your scalp and it helps your pores to open up and to grow. It helps with grounding, grounding you in understanding and in your reality of where you are. So this herb is one of my favorites, and I totally love it. I see that you all have popped some things in the chat. Sammy says refreshed. Natasha says alert. Nicole shares this scent relaxes me. Feels like it slows my thoughts. Yes, again, rosemary is an herb that works, again, it's a protective herb, but it also works on our mind. It works on our memory and allows us to remember. One of the things that it helps with is mental focus, right? So supports clarity, concentration, sharp thinking, especially during transitions. Again, we're in the middle of a transition, we're in the middle of a portal. So to keep ourselves focused, rosemary is a great tea to have. And this is one of the suggestions that's here. Rosemary and lemon balm, rosemary just by itself, rosemary and thyme. You can do so many combinations, but rosemary tea is just really beautiful. So if you get a chance, I would definitely brew some today, and let it take you on that journey. Rosemary is also known for energetic protection. It clears stagnant energy and creates a clean, protected field around your intentions. So we use rosemary. My grandmother used to use rosemary and clove, and she used to sprinkle them under the doormat as we walk into the house. And I remember one time catching her do it. So she would do things and no one would really know it happened. And of course, one day, my curious self, I was paying attention to what she was doing. I was, Grandma, why are you doing that? And she would say, clove really protects and allows for bad energies to stay out. He said, and rosemary ensures that what's coming in is clean. Because we don't know where people are coming from. We don't know what energy they're coming with. But as they step across our threshold, it's cleaning and clearing that energy. So, yes, as they always say, our elders, they've always known. The third thing that rosemary is known for is remembrance. Symbolically, rosemary holds the memory of who you are and where you are going. And so that is really important when we do our candle building today. That is one of the things I want you to remember as you are infusing rosemary with your prayers, right? Holding the memory of who you are and where you are going, right? Goes right back to the thought and the energy of Atroci, right? You have to at least know who you are. Hence, we were talking about our truths. We've been talking about what we need to release. We need to talk about who we are in this moment. And then we have to be able to focus and pull back the arrow to know where are we going? Where are we going? And making sure that that is very much connected. Checking in, does any of this resonate with you all? Any thoughts, questions? We're going to keep going. So rosemary is our herbal ally today. And then I want to talk about our flower essence. So today's flower essence and flower is Medea. Ooh, Medea is amazing. If you take a moment to even just look at the flower itself, you'll see that it's a focus flower. That's what I tell everyone. If you look all of that yellow, and then what does it make you do? It makes you focus in on the center of it because it's all burgundy. And so Medea is known as a focus flower. It is an ally for creating focus where you may not realize you even need focus, right? It brings us back to center. It brings us back to attention. And it's usually not forced, and it's usually a graceful return. So, for example, I know folks, when we were first doing the trials for these essences, someone said to me, "Oh, I took focus and I thought it was going to help me focus on," at the time, they thought it was their career. But as they were continuing to take the essence, what it made them focus on was their health, because they were having some health challenges that they weren't paying attention to. And this really got them into creating a routine, which I was like, wow, that's really great. And I've had other people take it and they said, oh, I was able to really focus on getting through this project, or working on, you know, um, working on some new things. And so Medea is one of those flowers that really does it in a subtle way. Many times you won't even realize that you're focused on something until you've actually finished the work that you were intending to do. Unlike Blackberry, where Blackberry just makes you sit down and you're like, I'm gonna get this done, Medea allows you to kind of expand that focus, right? It centers attention, right? It returns you to what matters again and again. No matter what is going on, if you are taking this and you're getting distracted, it's always going to bring you right back to center. This is what we're focused on. It provides clarity of purpose, right? It cuts through the confusion with ease. Again, earlier I shared, many times you're going to have to cut through the noise. And so this is a great flower for that. And then we talk about balanced focus, right? We engage without becoming rigid or scattered. So the idea of being focused, many times say, oh, they're so focused. And so it feels like you have blinders on. And it's not about having blinders on. It's not even about being rigid. It's really about this idea that you are focused, but you also can understand what's going on around you. And so Medea is really great for that. Nicole shares, I remember how powerful rosemary was for me learning about Egbe. Yes, it's about remembrance. And so these two paired together are really great to use, and continuing to learn more about how we help our memory in this season. So I'm going to read a little bit more about the focus flower essence. The focus flower essence blend supports a transition from mental fog, distraction, and lack of clarity to a state of clear-minded determination, mental alertness, and focused purpose. It helps individuals sharpen their concentration, clear away distractions, and maintain a calm, determined mindset while pursuing their goals. The affirmation for Medea is, I am fully present and focused with a clear mind that effortless guides me towards my goals and intentions. So Medea is such a great flower. If you all have not tried it, I will say try it. So we're going to take a few minutes to do a quick visualization. So you can take a couple of deep breaths in and breathe out. Again, deep breath in and breathe out. Last one, deep breath in and breathe out. And find a comfortable position for yourself. You can allow your eyes to close, or just lower your gaze and allow yourself to be comfortable and release any tension. Find your breath and allow yourself to be still. Imagine yourself in a quiet, serene place. Before you, there's a flickering candle flame glowing softly in the center of the room. Focus all your attention on the flame, watching it burn steadily without wavering. As you watch the flame, notice how everything around you becomes distant. The noise, distractions, and clutter all fade into the background. Your mind becomes as clear and still as the calm flame. There's no room for wandering thoughts. With each breath, feel your focus growing sharper, more intense. You are fully present, centered, and connected to your goal. The candle's light represents your focus, steady, unwavering, and powerful. Affirm to yourself, I am focused and clear. I am focused and clear. I am focused and clear. My mind is sharp and I am fully present in this moment. My mind is sharp and I am fully present in this moment. My mind is sharp and I am fully present in this moment. Take another deep breath in. Breathe out. Deep breath in. Breathe out. Last time, deep breath in. Breathe out. Releasing your focus from the flame. And when you are ready, you may open your eyes and bring this focused energy into this day. Great. How are we feeling out there? Sammy says, Ashe. How are we feeling? Amazing. Thank you for sharing. Focus, focus. We're all gonna be focused. I'm telling you. We're gonna be real focused this season, y'all. Relaxed and warm on the inside. Yeah, that idea of the flame, just thinking about it makes you feel relaxed. Yeah. Makes you feel very focused and warm. Trying to stay present. I started to get energized about my tasks for the days. Yeah. Like, what's the next thing that I can do? I know. Don't worry. We got all day. Natasha shares calm and prepared. Not over, but ready. Yes. Yes. Ready. That is beautiful. Thank you all for sharing. That is beautiful. So, we're going to take some time to do our reflection practice as we have been in all three of our days. And so, today we're going to focus on our question is going to be what deserves my focus in this season? What deserves my focus in this season? This is an opportunity for us to be very clear and also to use that energy of intention, right? To, excuse me, to create an opportunity for us to be focused on one, two, maybe three things. But I'm going to challenge you to focus on one thing because, where you put that energy, all of your intention will go. Right. And so when you have too many things out there, it sometimes makes it difficult for you to make sure that the intention is behind it. So I want you to take a few moments to write in your journal around what deserves my focus in this season. This again is an opportunity for you to build on the work that you've been doing for the last 2 days. So what truth has been emerging? And from that truth, what choice have you made? And then what were some of the steps that you talked about yesterday of what you're going to do in this season in order to bring you closer to your goal? So this is an opportunity for us to follow up with that. Oh, I see that Sammy says, same, I'm a little overwhelmed, but I'm ready for this season. That is so great. So let's take a moment now, even talking about what is the overwhelm and what are you going to be focused on. And so I'm going to set our timer. I'm going to throw on a little music And I'm going to give you guys a few minutes to write. We have about 30 more seconds. So I hope that time to write was very helpful. And so I'm going to ask us to share what we wrote, but this is the way that I'll ask. I'll ask it in this prompt. In this new season, the one thing I am ready to direct my energy toward is, In this season, in this new season, the one thing I am ready to direct my energy toward is, and you can summarize all of your writing into, if you can, one thing. I will share what I wrote, or what comes up for me is me. That was the first thing on the top of my list. That's where I'm going to be putting my energy this season, into me. As much as I give to others, and I think when we started on the first day, I talked about it, that my giving and receiving is out of balance. So I'm going to be um, putting some things on the scale so that we can get balanced. I see Sammy says new goals for me. Mama Freya says me too. Wonderful. Anyone else? Now, what is the one thing you're going to be focused on in this season? That is the first thing I heard. Yeah. Yeah. That's the same thing with me. I literally wrote it in all caps. What deserves my focus this season, and me in parentheses came up. So it's a season. It's real. And it's good. It's good that we acknowledge that. We acknowledge that truth. We acknowledge what's needed in this time. Ayoka shares is my creativity, treating it as an act of care. That's beautiful. Yeah. Nicole shares, in this season, the one thing I am ready to direct my energy into is my home and personal wellness. Me. See, we're on theme, guys. Building home routines and the lifestyle I most desire. I'm moving into my dream home space. I'm so excited and ready for this. That is so beautiful. Congratulations, Nicole. Congratulations. That's beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. So, yeah, this is important because, again, if we don't put intention behind what it is we're going to be focused on, what it is we're directing our energy to, we won't be able to hit the mark, right? We won't be able to remember or be pulled back into alignment when we fall out of alignment and we forget that we made these covenants with ourselves. So it's important that we take the time to do that. Beautiful, beautiful, Nicole. Yeah, folks, congratulations. That's a really great thing. Natasha shares, I will be focused on my health, spiritual, physical, mentally, financially, and emotionally. Ashe, wonderful, wonderful. Right. The idea of your health and what that looks like, and being able to know what being in or having good health looks like for you today. Right. Because many times what happens with our own, we talked about this when we're restoring trust and we're thinking about ourselves, we will compare ourselves to ourselves 10 years ago and forget that we're not the same person, right? So be able to define what that looks like for you today, because that is so important. I see quite a few people are moving. This is great. You've been focused on it. This is a great season. Sammy shares, congratulations. She's also moving also. This is great. I love it. I love it. I love it. We're building. So thank you all. Thank you all for sharing. And we are going to keep moving forward. So today our ritual is about, of course, the equinox, but also using the flame, right? Using fire as and light, the returning of light, as not just a symbol, but as an actual tool that we'll use throughout this season. So we are going to create a candle that helps us with deliberately thinking about and putting intentions into illumination and lighting our path during this season, right? The flame honors not just the return to light, but also the clarity about what you're returning to. Yes? So clarity starts with burning away confusion and illuminating a path that's already forming within you. Again, we talked about this yesterday. A lot of the energy around Ogun right? Or the energy of clearing the way or clearing a path is that sometimes that path doesn't exist until you decide to create the blueprint for it. So being able to be really clear about what are you giving in this season, and why is it clear that yes, it may not exist, but I'm very clear that this is something that I'm supposed to be working on. The second thing that the candle or the flame will do is it helps us with direction, right? One single flame points upward. It's undivided, it's steady, and it's true. As we did in our visualization, right? You were focused on that flame, and it was steady. It didn't move, it didn't split into two, it didn't create, right? It made you focus. And so we want to make sure that we are also doing that, that we are using the single flame to help us to focus in this season. And the third thing is illumination, right? What has been hidden begins to be seen, and what has been scattered begins to gather. So the idea is that as we're creating these pathways, as we're creating these intentions, as we're focusing in on and putting our intentions around what we're focusing on, we're able to really see that the light illuminates the path and allows us to see what we need to see. It also allows anything or any energies that may have been scattered to now come back into focus, right? As you were focusing on the light and the flame in the visualization, this is the same thing that candle and candle work can do for us as well. That it allows us to focus in and bring all that scattered energy into one space. So we are going to be working on a candle today. So if you have your candle, grab it. And if you have all of your materials, grab them. And then when you are ready, pop it in the chat that you're ready so we can all do this together. You will need one piece of paper, something that you can either tear off or make a little square. Either one is fine. And so when you have gathered your materials and you are ready, just, hit ready in the chat for me, and then we can go from there. Great. Great. Give a few more seconds. I don't know if you all can see. So your candle can be any color. I chose yellow for this one. And we'll work this through together. Okay. Great. So oh yes, you can use whatever you like. So yes, lemongrass will work. Great. Wonderful. So we are going to get started. So the first thing that we want to do is that we want to, again, put our intentions into everything that we're using in our hands, our focus when we're doing this, and then also when we get to the end and we actually light our candle. So the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to write on a piece of paper, my focus for this season is, and you're going to fill it out. My focus for this season is, And so once you've written this, I want you to read it to yourself out loud. My focus for this season is, and whatever it is you've written, and however you've written it. So I'll read my focus for the season is me. My expansion and the sustainability of joy, wealth, health, and happiness. And so once you have read it out loud, I want you to then fold it into a smaller piece of paper. Oh, there it is, smaller piece of paper. And you're going to just place it underneath the candle that you're working with, because this is helping to bring that energy all the way up in your candle. And so whatever herbs you've gathered, I want you to think about and make sure that you have decided which one is going to lead. So for me, I'm going to use rosemary as my lead herb. And so that's going to be the first one that I put. And so I'm going to just I have dried rosemary. Usually I have fresh rosemary, but somehow in this house today, there was everything but that. So I'm going to take a little bit of the rosemary, as we have always. You take a moment, you smell it. You want to, if you can crush it or muddle it a little bit. So the muddling, even with dried herbs, helps the essential oils and the smell to come out some more. And then you're going to say your intention into the herb, what you want it to help you with, what you want it to help illuminating, and remembering that rosemary is about remembering who you are and who you're becoming. That it supports that memory, it supports that inner knowing. And then once you've said your prayer, you can go ahead and place it on the top of your candle. Depending on how soft your candle is, you can also put some little lines and kind of dig it in as well. And if you have other herbs that you're going to use, you can take this time, again, the same thing that we're going to do. We're going to take a little bit of that herb. The next one that I have cinnamon, because cinnamon is connected to prosperity and connected to wealth. I'll put a little bit of that cinnamon in my hand. Prayer to it. So I'm going to add a little cinnamon to mine. Put a little bit more on this side. And for me, there were 3 herbs that I really wanted to work with. So I have rosemary for memory. I have cinnamon for prosperity. I have ginger for grounding and warming. And then, as I shared with you all, something said get some lemon peel. So I got some lemon peel and I brought that as well. I'm now going to put some ginger on mine. Sure. Great. And then for me, I'm going to take the lemon peels. Again, citrus. This is smelling amazing. I don't know how is yours smelling? Right now, I just smelt my hand that had rosemary, cinnamon, ginger, and then I put the lemon on there, and I'm like, I'm very much awake now. Lemon or citrus. So you can do this with orange, lime, grapefruit. Any citrus will help you with, helps to clear depression. It helps for you to be cheerful. One of my EAs used to always say when we were first studying essential oils, you can never open an orange and be unhappy. So you want to think about using elements that are also going to naturally help you in this season. So, for example, um, you can boil lemon peels, you can boil orange peels, and allow it to smell through your house, and it will bring that energy of joy. Uh, yes. I'm sorry, Nicole, I didn't see the question. I see it now. So the steps are whichever herb, starting from the very, very beginning, it's to write down your my focus for this new season is, write it onto your piece of paper and place it underneath your candle. I'm sorry, write it on your piece of paper, read it out loud, and then place it underneath your candle so that as you are building, you are also keeping that energy into what you're building. And then you're going to take each of the herbs that you would like to use and say a prayer to them, and then place them in or design it on the top of your candle. And that's pretty much where we are now. And once you're finished, and I was just going through the herbs that I'm using. So my last one is going to be lemon peel. I just threw some lemon peels, skinned some lemon peels off of a lemon. And so I'm going to add that to the top of my, and with lemon peels, you can twist them. That gets the oils out, and just design them on top. You're most welcome. I know this is a very tactile activity for this morning. Oh, it's smelling amazing right now. And so I've now put my lemons, I put my lemon peel, I put cinnamon, I put ginger, I put rosemary. And the last thing that I'm going to add, and it's totally up to you, you can add olive oil, meaning you can pray to the olive oil and put it in as an anointing oil. You also can use I'm going to use an essential oil. The way I'm going to use the essential oil is very similar to what I did with all of the herbs. So I'll say a prayer. I'll put a little bit in my hand and I'll say a prayer. Typically, with essential oils, I like to also turn it around in that particular chakra in my hand just to kind of allow it to activate. And then you're going to just put a few drops on the top of your candle. So I'm using rosemary oil. On the top of my candle. Great. And once you're finished that, then you're going to just take a moment to hold your candle before we even light it, before we do anything else. Just take a moment to breathe it in. So take a deep breath in and breathe out. Feel the energy of what you've created, right? Feel the energy of what you're aiming for. Feel the focus around what you're working towards, right? This is the moment here, right? Sammy shares that this feels motivating. Yeah, feel alleviated. Mama Freya shares, I'm excited about my new beginning. Wonderful. Great. So hold this intention gently. Hold your candle in this moment. It allows you to walk in this portal on both sides, which is really important for us right now. And so we are now to the point where our candle, we've put our intentions in. Our candle, if you notice, if you had put oil or anything on top, it probably has now sunken into the candle. So this is a good thing. It's ready to be lit. Okay. And if you have a match or a lighter, I want you to go ahead and light your candle. And once you have lit your candle, take a moment again. Put your hands around the candle. Be very intentional about this moment and in this time. I want you to take a deep breath in and breathe out. Deep breath in and breathe out. Last time, deep breath in and breathe out. And you're going to focus your energy, focus your sight at this moment on the candle, on the flame. And you're going to repeat these words out loud. As the light returns to the earth, I welcome clarity into my path. As the light returns to the earth, I welcome clarity on my path. I move forward guided by truth, strengthened by progress, and illuminated by purpose. Sit with the flame for a few minutes. Watch it. Let it be a mirror. As the light is returning to the earth, it is also returning to you. Call the light in. We'll take a few more minutes here. And take a deep breath in and breathe out. Deep breath in and breathe out. Last time, deep breath in and breathe out. And so you can either leave your candle on, or I'm actually going to put mine out just because I'm not going to be paying attention. So you always want to make sure that you're paying attention to your candles, never leaving them on burning when you are not around. And if you feel as though, so right now, I feel as though I will become so enthralled in the flame that I will not pay attention. So I'm going to put mine out and I'm going to light it again a little bit later when I'm doing my meditation. But how are we feeling? That fire was intense. I became very, very focused. I know I can speak for myself. But also the energy of this focus in this moment is really powerful and it's really palatable, meaning I can like literally feel and taste it. Very different than when I started this morning. How about you all? How are you feeling? Mm. Sammy shares big energy. I'm excited. My candle is lit. How wonderful. That's beautiful. Thank you, Sammy. Oh, that's beautiful. I love it. Yoga shares beautiful and inspired. Yes. Nicole shares, like, I can't be distracted from this intention. Yes, it really seals you in. That's why I said as I knew I was going to continue in the presentation, I needed to turn my candle off because I was so focused on it. I would not have been paying attention to what the candle or the fire was doing. It's so intense. And this is such a powerful, powerful time to be focused on ourselves and focused on what we're doing and what we're cultivating in this next season. Mama Freya says, I feel like I want to watch the flame on the candle for the rest of the day. I feel warmed by the light and intentional. Ashe. Ashe. Beautiful, 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 everyone. Oh, I thank you all so much for being on this journey together. As we are closing this journey, it's not the end of our journey, but we're closing this particular journey. That I wanted to review the our 3 days and what this deliberate progression into the equinox means for each and every one of us, right? That day one, we talked about truth, right? The energy of Eshu, the energy of courage, the energy of truth and trust, and what that means for ourselves, what it means to name what is real around us, right? And ground ourselves in our honesty and being courageous to be honest, right? Day two was about progress, right? Moving from knowing into doing, building momentum, one honest step at a time. And today we talked about focus, channeling our energy with clarity and aim to choose your direction for this new season. That again, you get to choose. And because you get to choose, wherever your focus goes, that also is where your energy will go. And so you get to choose what that looks like today. So, a couple of reminders to trust your body. It will always be your compass. We talked about what it feels like when you're aligned and what it feels like when you're misaligned. Trust your body. Trust your body. The next thing is to honor your truth. It will ground you beneath everything else that you build. If you're honest about why you're doing what you're doing and what the truth that has emerged and it becomes your why and your purpose, everything you build on top of that will always stand true. And to move forward with intention. This new season has already begun. Welcome. Welcome, everyone. So I want to thank you for being here with us these 3 days. It's been amazing. Continue on your journey. There are many ways in which you can continue this work. As we shared before, you can work with the flower essences. You can join our Soul Soil Collective, which is a monthly circle where we continue this work on a deeper level. This month, we are continuing to talk about truth, choice, and communication and what that looks like. You can join our kitchen medicine collective. That is a free collective that talks more about the herbs and kitchen medicines that we have and the way in which you can do that. You can do a consultation, flower essence consultation, to see what kind of flower essences would look great, will work with you in this season, and how they can help you with your continued expansion. You can listen to the podcast, the Be the Medicine podcast, where we're talking about ways in which we can expand ourselves and expand our understanding. So there are so many ways and so many reasons to continue to stay connected. The goal is that this is just a stepping stone as we go into this new season, that we continue to build this collective in the way that we have been, so that we can support each other's individual and collective goals. And I am, again, so honored to be here with you all. I'm honored to start this day. This day has so many threshold moments for me. It's not just the equinox, it's the birthday of one of my dear, dear sisters. Who transitioned. Dio, today's her birthday. It is a very spiritual day in my spiritual practice. So it's a lot happening all on this day. And I kid you not, as energized as I am, I think I'm going to go and take a nap to help integrate all of these things. But I'm so excited. I'm excited for this season, and we have more. So again, I believe everyone who's here has been with us before. But those who may be watching the replay, if you're interested in seeing what's happening, look at our website, www.akikafloweressence.com, and then you will be able to see what's happening each month, what's new, and how you can stay connected. I am so, so, so grateful and so honored to be with you all today. And just really, really amazing. Thank you, Sammy. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being yourself, each of you coming as yourself. And that also makes this work so incredible. You're most welcome, Natasha. Madasta. Thank you so much, Mama Frie. Yes, yes. Happy Equinox, everyone. Happy Equinox. Allow yourself to be in this energy. It's going to feel different later for you. And so as you go through your day, continue to think about the flame, think about what your choice is, and allow it to really uh, cultivate a really powerful season for you.